Let me tell you something honestly. A lot of you are scared of speaking into a mic. And I get it. I have used voice cloning too. Go look at my older videos. I was doing the same thing a lot of people are doing right now. I was just trying to push through. I was trying to sound polished. I was trying to sound like I belonged on YouTube. I thought maybe if my voice sounded more American, more clean, more perfect, then people would watch my content. But you know what I realized? It was actually killing my content because the moment you clone your voice or use some robotic AI voice or borrow a fake accent that is not even yours, you remove the one thing that was actually making your content different. You remove yourself. And that is the part nobody tells. People think content is just the script, just the editing, just choosing the thumbnails, the hooks, the captions, the transitions. It is not. Those things do help. But the real thing people connect with is the human behind the words. That is why people watch streamers for hours. That is why people listen to podcasts. That is why some creators can say very simple things and people still stay. Because they are not just listening for information, they are listening for a real person with a real voice, a real hesitation, a real laugh, a real dialect, something that feels alive. And this is the weird part. We say we want to stand out, but then we all go and clone the same kind of voice, same polished tone, same accent, same robotic rhythm. And then we wonder why the video fails. Of course it will fail. You took your own idea, which may actually be brilliant, and then wrapped it in a voice that sounds like everybody else. You tried to make it safer, but in making it safer, you also made it forgettable. And I am not saying this as some outsider judging people. I am saying this as someone who did it too. I used AI voices, cloned voices. I told myself it was strategic. I told myself maybe my real voice would not fit the audience, and maybe my dialect sound off. My pronunciation was not smooth enough. People would judge me. They would click away. And maybe some people will. But let me ask you something. If your own voice scares away the kind of people who only want the fake perfection, were those even your people in the first place? Because internet has changed a lot. There is so much AI content now, so much fake content with synthetic speech, that the thing people are starting to crave again is not perfection anymore. It is the presence. They want to feel that somebody is actually there, that a human being sat down, thought about something, and said it in a way no machine could copy. And your dialect is part of that. Your pauses are part of that. Even your awkwardness is part of that. That is your fingerprint. That is your identity. That is your proof that there is a person behind the video. The world is not beautiful because everyone sounds the same. The world is beautiful because nobody does. Different accents, different rhythms, different tones, different ways of telling stories. That is not a problem to fix, and that is the whole point. And honestly, here is how I knew something was wrong. I watched my own videos and I did not even enjoy them. Think about how crazy that is. I made the video, I knew what I was trying to say, I knew the effort behind it. And still, when I heard that fake voice, I felt creeped out. I felt disconnected from my own content. I skipped my own video. So then I had to ask myself a brutal question. If I do not even want to listen to my own content, then why would I expect other people to sit there and enjoy it? That was the moment I understood that I was not improving my content. I was hiding behind a cleaner voice, a safer voice, a more acceptable voice, but it was never mine. And if it is not yours, people can feel that. They feel when something is real and they feel when something is fake. That is why a slightly imperfect human voice can beat a perfectly generated one, because one sounds like a sound and other sounds like a person. And I am not against use of AI. Use AI for ideas, editing help, captions, thumbnails, research, workflow. Automate what should be automated, but do not automate the soul out of your own content. Do not automate the part that is supposed to carry your humanity. Your voice is not just a tool. Your voice is part of the message. And maybe right now you hate how you sound. A lot of people do. That is normal. The first few times on mic feels uncomfortable for almost everyone. You hear your own voice and think, do I really sound like that? And that is fine, because confidence in your voice does not come before speaking. It comes from speaking, from repetition, from hearing yourself enough times that fear starts losing its power. Not because your voice changed, but because your relationship with it changed. So if you are sitting there thinking, my accent is not right, my dialect is not right, my voice is not right, my audience wants something else, that is not the truth. The right audience does not need you to sound like everybody else. The right audience needs you to sound like yourself, because there is already enough fake content on the internet, enough fake voices pretending to be human. What people remember is the human who had something real to say. So speak, even if your voice shakes, even if your dialect is strong, even if it is not polished yet. Because the moment you stop hiding behind borrowed voices, your content stops sounding fake and starts sounding alive. And that is when people do not just hear your video, they hear you. And once people hear a real person, that is when connection starts. That is when content actually begins.